Bonjour les élèves, j'espère que vous allez bien. Aujourd'hui, on va répéter quelques leçons qu'on a déjà fait dans les cours précédents. So, as you know, we are using more and more French in this class because you are at an advanced level. So, today we are going to do some repetitions of the previous classes, because there are a few very important things that you have learned in the previous lessons. One of them being how to give and take directions to reach a place, how to locate yourself, how to be in a city and reach to different places by different means of transport. One of the most used word in French is s'il vous plaît. S'il vous plaît means please. S'il vous plaît, excusez-moi, these are the polite forms. As we have seen, imperative can be used to give orders, to give advice, or to give instructions like how to reach to this place, to that place, instructions, but it can also be used as a form of politeness, like veuillez patienter. Please wait. In this particular lesson today, we are going to do a matching between imperative and how to take directions and how to read traffic signals, which are very important. So, stop is arrêter, and what is the imperative form of stop in French? Arrêter. As we have seen in the previous class, in order to reach the imperative form of a verb, we go by the present tense and we omit the subject pronoun. So, arrêter is the verb and vous arrêtez is the present tense. So, the form of imperative is arrêter. For example, if you are traveling in a taxi and you have to tell to the taxi chauffeur, please stop, you can say arrêtez s'il vous plaît. Then there are a few roads and lanes in almost every cities these days which are reserved only for the cyclists. So, if you see this particular symbol, then it means entrez seulement avec les vélos. Entrez means to enter, entrez seulement. Seulement might be a newer word to you. We have done it in the previous lessons also. Seulement means only. Entrez seulement avec les vélos. The other signal that you see now, it is often you find in many of the crossroads and junctions across the globe. Ne tournez pas à gauche. Ne tournez pas à gauche. So, ne tournez pas is the imperative form that you can verbally translate. So, in this lesson, we are translating multiple signals in the imperative form. So, how do you read that signal and how you say it to somebody? Ne tournez pas à gauche, and ne tournez pas à gauche, that is for vous, but if you have to make it for tu version or for we version, nous, then what do you say? You say ne tourne pas à gauche, ne tournons pas à gauche. So, we have also learned how to do the negative form of an imperative expression. Then this particular signal that you are seeing, you can see une voiture et deux motos. Une voiture means the car and les motos is bikes. N'entrez pas avec les voitures et les motos. N'entrez pas avec les voitures et les motos. So again, if you see this signal, how do you translate into French imperative expression? N'entrez pas avec les voitures et les motos. Maintenant, on va voir un nouveau panneau. Now we are seeing a new signal, that is ne dépassez pas. Ne dépassez pas. Dépasser means to overtake. So, je dépasse, it's just like passer. Je dépasse, tu dépasses, il dépasse, elle dépasse, nous dépassons, vous dépassez, il dépassait, elle dépassait. So, ne dépassez pas means do not overtake. This particular thing you see very often also in the cities. Now, this signal is also integrated with the main traffic lights, where the pedestrians are supposed to cross the road. So, there are two things I would like to say. In France, you will see piéton prioritaire, piéton prioritaire, meaning pedestrians priority. So, this is an universal traffic rule. On the road, you have to give the priority to the pedestrians. Pedestrians in French is piéton prioritaire. And this particular symbol actually indicates where to cross the road from. So, how do you see this and say this in imperative? Traversez la rue par ici. Traversez la rue par ici. Cross the road from here. Cross the road from here. Now, coming to the universal traffic signal. We are yet to learn all the colors, but today we can start with three colors. Le rouge. Rouge is red. Le rouge. Jaune. Jaune is yellow. And vert is green. Vert is green. For rouge, like for example, le feu rouge means red signal, le feu jaune is yellow signal, le feu vert is the green signal. In French, we also use this word le feu vert in different contexts. When you get the nod or the yes from somebody, you can say he has given le feu vert, means he has given the green signal. So, le rouge corresponds to arrêter, yellow corresponds to faire attention, and green means to go when the traffic is open. But how do you translate it? If you are in a navigator's position in a car and you want to translate these signals to the driver or to the chauffeur, how do you say? When you see the red, you say arrêtez. When you see jaune or the yellow, you say faites attention. When you see green, you say allez. Now, in most of the cities, these days you see these numericals along with a red band around it encircled like this. So, this actually indicates the speed limit. How do you say speed in French? La vitesse. We have learned in our previous lesson TGV, train à grande vitesse, if you remember. TGV, which is the fastest train in Europe, in France, and actually this speed depends with the new innovation. At times the Japanese or the Germans have the fastest, but TGV is definitely one of the fastest trains in the world. So, la vitesse, les trains en grande vitesse. Grande vitesse means high speed, vitesse means speed. So, les panneaux comme ça indiquent la limitation de vitesse. The signboards like this, they indicate the speed limit. So, in this particular signal where you see 30 or 30, what do you translate it into in an imperative sense? You say, ne dépassez pas 30 km par heure. Ne dépassez pas 30 km par heure. So, it means do not exceed 30 kilometers per hour. Do not exceed 30 kilometers per hour. In Paris, there are many streets and lanes and bylanes where we find this particular symbol, which says actually not to enter. N'entrez pas, that means you cannot enter there with a motorized vehicle. N'entrez pas. Now, coming to this very interesting and self-explanatory image, it is a tow-away zone in English. But how do you say somebody not to park your car in a certain place? And how do you translate no parking into French? For example, if your friend is trying to park in a place where it is no parking is interdit de stationnement, interdit de stationnement. And if you have to tell your friend, do not park here or don't park here, which is again imperative form, how do you say it? Ne garez pas. Ne garez pas ici. Do not park your car here. So, garer is to park. So, je gare ma voiture, tu gares ta voiture, il gare sa voiture, elle gare sa voiture, nous garons nos véhicules, vous garez votre voiture, ils garent leur voiture, elles garent leur voiture. So, garer is a new verb perhaps we are introduced now. So, garer is to park. So, this particular symbol says ne garez pas votre voiture ici. And no parking, I repeat, no parking is interdit de stationnement. Interdit de stationnement. This particular signal that you see now, which means aller tout droit. Aller tout droit. Aller tout droit means go straight. For this particular signal, it means you have to take a right turn, which is almost obligatory, which is almost imperative to take. So, how do you translate this particular signal into an imperative? Tournez à droite. Tournez à droite. Similarly, if the arrow is on the other side, you say tournez à gauche. Tournez à gauche. So, again here remember how to go for the right conjugation of imperative. It's you have to just omit the subject pronoun and keep the present tense conjugation to reach the imperative for the regular verbs. So, tourner is to turn. So, tourner à gauche is to turn left. So, coming back to the recapitulation of the entire imperative, which is very important as an expression in French, we will revise how to do the conjugation of imperative in different forms. So, as we have seen that when we give order, instructions, advice, normally it can have only three cases. You are giving the order to someone, or you can give the order to some people, more than one, and the third thing is where you include yourself. So, imperative or imperative is possible for tu, vous and nous. So, to conjugate in tu, the second person singular number, we go by the present tense. and the present tense, whatever is there for the regular verb, we take it as it is, and instead of adding an s, we omit that s and tu both. So, parler in second person is tu parles, T-U-P-A-R-L-E-S. For imperative, you put parle, P-A-R-L-E. You omit tu and s both. And for all other verbs that ends with s, means which are irregular verbs, which are not regular verbs, for them you have to put an s, like prendre, prend, P-R-O-N-D-S, vendre, vend, V-O-N-D-S. So, this is for the tu form of, that means second person singular number of imperative. That means this form is only applicable for those people who are your informal relations, your friends, your family, and with people with you tutoyer. Tutoyer means you use tu. So, tutoyer and vous voyez. We have learned it right in the beginning of our course. So, for tu we have learnt how to do it. Now, just a few examples: parler, parle, finir, finit, vendre, vend. As you say parler, it ends with e. So, there is a small underline under e. Finir, a small underline around under s, because it always ends with s. Vendre, vend with an s. The second case is nous, like when we say, we give an instruction, when we give some advice, or we order something where we also include ourselves. So, in that case, in English we say let's go. For example, when you have a dog and you throw a ball and you say go and bring the ball, you do not include yourself. But if you are with your friends and you want to go and visit a place, you say let's go. So, in French the let's does not occur, it is already inside the imperative form. So, for nous, the imperative form for the first person plural form nous is the same as present tense. That means, for the regular verbs it is, the nous form, like nous parlons. You just omit the subject pronoun. As I have explained in the previous lesson, subject pronouns are I, you, he, she, they, we. In French there are more number of it. So, there is je, tu, il, elle, nous, vous, il, elle, and also there is on, o and on, which kind of a neutral third person singular number, because when you say on va voir, it means we, but it can also mean without a subject pronoun. So, there is also on, but we will talk about that in the next few lessons. In this particular case, the subject pronoun, that means je, tu, il, elle, nous, vous, il, elle, are referred to as the subject pronoun. So, in imperative you have to remember we do not use subject pronoun. So, in case of nous, for regular verbs we say parler, parlons. For those verbs which end with IR, we just put ESSONS, ISSONS, meaning we actually turn it into finissons, like finir, finissons, vendre, vendons. So, largely you can say for nous and vous, the present tense is retained as it is. Now, coming to the third form of imperative. So, previous two forms were tu, in which you is informal. Now, we are coming to the formal vous. So, vous is some subject pronoun that we use that is formal in relationship, you talk to your bosses as vous. If you are not very informal, anybody whom you generally don't know, you use vous. So, the imperative or the imperative for the second person plural form vous is same as the present tense form. This means for the er verbs and ari verbs and the irregular verbs, we just add ez. Regardez, finissez, parlez, and we will see also like vendre becomes vendez. So, for the imperative of vous version is very simple. It is primarily the present tense without the subject pronoun. So, as I was telling you right in the beginning, I used this word s'il vous plaît. S'il vous plaît means please. Similarly, in politesse, politesse means politeness. Par politesse, we also use impératif. En français, nous utilisons l'impératif aussi pour indiquer la politesse. Par exemple, attendez madame, attendez madame, attendez monsieur, patientez s'il vous plaît, patientez s'il vous plaît. Patientez s'il vous plaît means be patient, please. Attendez madame, attendez monsieur means please wait, sir, please wait, madam. Veuillez vous asseoir, veuillez vous asseoir. Veuillez vous asseoir means please be seated. Veuillez vous asseoir. And even in the previous class, we have talked about the reflexive verbs. Just a small reminder, reflexive verbs is like s'appeler, je m'appelle, tu t'appelles, or je me lave, tu te laves, or je me couche, tu te couches. So, if you have reflexive verbs, how do you turn them into imperative? To form a positive imperative, that means when you are giving a positive imperative, not a negative one, positive imperative with a reflexive verb, we use the conjugate verb followed by a reflexive tracer pronoun, means toi, vous and nous. So, there are only three possibilities, like when you say se lever, se lever means to get up, lève-toi, lève-nous. So, lève-toi, lèvons-nous. So, these are the two examples I will give, and when you use the negative imperative. So, negative imperatives are like when you are asking people not to do something. Ne te lève pas, ne nous levons pas. Ne te lève pas, non nous levons pas. Let's not get up. It's non nous levons pas. So, in negative imperatives, the reflexive pronoun is unstressed and occupies its normal position. So, stressed means like when you are saying lève-toi, like réveiller. Réveiller means to wake up. Je me réveille, tu te réveilles, il te réveille. So, tu te réveilles. Réveille-toi. Réveille-toi. So, even if we are not using you in the beginning, as we would have done for the present tense, in imperative we are saying réveille-toi. This toi is actually coming from the reflexive pronoun. So, ne te lève pas, ne nous levons pas, ne te réveille pas, ne nous réveillons pas. So, these are the examples. Now, I would also tell you about the imperative exceptions, because aller means to go, which looks like a regular verb because it ends with er. So, aller becomes va, allons and aller. So, va à l'école means go to school. Allons au cinéma, let's go to the cinema. Aller à la gare, go to the station. Avoir is another verb which is an irregular and which is an exception. So, avoir imperative form ayons and ayez. Et ayons, and ayez. Another verb is être. Être means to be. So the imperative of être is sois, soyons, and soyez. So, sois attentif, be attentive. Soyons calmes means let's be cool, or let's be patient. Soyez calme means also be patient. Savoir. Savoir is another verb which is a complete exception in imperative, which becomes sache, sachons, and sachez. Now, with the end of this particular lesson, I would say try to imagine a situation where you have to navigate your friend through the roads, and you have different traffic signals, and you interpret those things in French, and if possible do a search on other traffic signals which have not been discussed in this particular lesson, and try to write them down. Till we meet next, bon courage, à la prochaine, bonne continuation et au revoir.